that if you do have a smartphone or iPod Touch, you can integrate that into the toy, and we see that here. I'm managing director of Ravensburger Digital, and we developed this game concept and the software and the app. Okay, so this is the Space Hawk, and it's a new generation of interactive toy. And on the first level, it is exactly that, a really cool action toy. And you can play with it just like with a good toy. And because it's a hawk, you can actually transform it and also bring it into hawk mode and make it look like a hawk. And you can transform it into other modes and play with the wings and put it in landing mode and everything. So this is kind of the first level of play. The Space Hawk is taking you obviously off into space with the crew to go through adventures and save the galaxy from destruction. And what it is, it has a second level of gameplay that if you do have a smartphone or iPod Touch, you can integrate that into the toy, and we see that here. And we have this adjustable holders
Very clever.
That would hold pretty much any size of smartphone. It takes all the way up to an iPhone 6 Plus would even fit in there. So if you do integrate the smartphone with a free app, then it really opens up the whole second level of play and brings the spaceship to life, making use of the motion sensors of the device so that the entire game is actually played by your physical movements and the app reacting and the game reacting to your physical movements. And I'll show you how that works with a real quick demo. So this is just a demo taking us straight into a few highlights of the game. One is the action mode, which basically takes us right into the cockpit, and we are now the captain moving through space with the spaceship and really discovering 360 degrees around us what the world looks like or what the space looks like. And it's all controlled by the rotation and the motion I make physically with this spaceship. It's almost like an Xbox controller shape down here. So in this case, it's an action sequence. We're supposed to clear away some of these asteroids so that we can fly through. And what we do is basically we rotate and zoom in on one of the asteroids and lock in, and the laser is then automatically fired off and would basically destroy this asteroid here and get it out of the way. And we can physically feel the vibration from the device as we hit the asteroid, right?
I'm feeling it right now. It's like using the haptics.
Yeah, right. So this is one example of how you move through space. Oh, there's one coming right our way. We gotta get rid of this before it destroys our ship here. All right. So it's almost like being in virtual reality around you without having to wear a VR headset, but it's basically the effect of playing 360 degrees. And that's the fundamental idea of integrating movement and role-playing into this game. You cannot play this game sitting down. You're going to have to move about. We also did design the entire interior of the spaceship in 3D, so it's part of the game. There's a whole level of gameplay where you move inside your spaceship. You get to discover the interiors. You can basically walk through, and here in this case, let's go into the wing. It's where the engines are, and later on we can upgrade and we need to repair the engines. Or on the other side here, we can discover the laser systems which are here in the wings. So there's a whole tactical level of gameplay inside the ship of upgrading and dealing with technology.
Cool.
And in the cockpit we're going to get the missions and fly off to new space stars and live through new adventures. The flight mode, when we go from one step to the next, is actually we transform into flight mode. And we now get the commands from the cockpit. We listen to the captain. The captain would say, take a right dive. We're going to have to take a right dive. And the game will again react to our physical movements. So it'll guide us through a sequence of basically flight steps to the next planet. And when we reach that planet, we can open up and go into hover mode, we call it. And the doors open up on the bottom side, and the camera can now look through. And we have these game boards in here that represent locations in the game. You can put them anywhere, basically on the floor, wherever you want to play. And then we get there. We would fly through this planet here. It's an island planet. And the camera would recognize that game board and basically display that planet in 3D. And we can move around that planet and basically zoom in on a landing spot and then fly down onto the planet, onto the surface, and live through the next adventure mission that's awaiting us down there. Here it's a monster on this island that's attacking our station. And again, we can basically move around in 3D, look at that monster from all sides, and we're getting orders from the crew as to what to do and how to basically deal with that monster. And those two action robots will help us here in dealing with the monster. We would have inserted them here before we start the game. I'm just going to do this. So now the captain would tell us, okay, we need the help of the monsters. We push this button here and they're being ejected and fall down. And then they would be recognized by the camera and they would appear inside the game as characters, and we can steer them and control them, and they would help us fight the monster later on in the
Now the camera can see these as cute little QR codes, right?
Yeah, basically they're similar to QR codes. We can hold this here. So there they are. See them right there.
Okay. Yeah.
And now they would become part of that action sequence, and we can steer them, and they would drive away the monster from our station there.
This is a long way from jigsaw puzzles.
Yes, very much so. We worked a lot on that for the past 18 months. It's a new generation really of interactive gameplay. But as I said, it's all about bringing back traditional gameplay patterns like movement and role-playing and playing with physical things around you, and mixing that intelligently with what technology can offer.
Now the app is free.
The app is free. There's no in-app purchase, no advertising. You can play it offline completely. So once you download it and have the product, you're good to go. You don't need to connect online at any stage of the game.
Yeah, and so there's all the connection with the phone is physical. There's no actual plug-in.
No, there's no electronics. So you can play with it just as a toy standalone, or you use the intelligence and the technology that's inside the device to really make it come to life and be an integrated unit that you can control with your physical movements. So it's all about moving about and having that as part of the gameplay. Yes. There you go. Put it in landing mode.
There's the actual QR code. There it is, all up close. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.